Hello. I'm about to start another project for Grayson's art club. This week's theme is work and I don't know what I'm going to do. I made some really boring notes last night. I've only given myself one extra afternoon than my panic from last week. Work. I'm either going to go down the route of therapy, but most likely Betty. For those of you who don't know who Betty is, Betty was my granny. An absolutely sensational woman, an artist, just a babe, really. And worked under the name Odello Marshall. She did landscapes, she loved animals and the countryside. And just like me, she moved from Surrey to Devon to start an art career. Downstairs, I found her old tabletop easel. On it are all these beautiful marks of her last paintings. I don't know how it's so clean, actually. She obviously wasn't like me and probably cleaned up after herself. We've also got here, I got her old painting smock when she passed. And it's still got paint all over it. But in her later years, when she was sadly suffering from dementia and going rapidly downhill, she wore that. Yeah. I've actually done quite a few projects on my granny already, at college, at uni, and just in my adult life. I am a little bit obsessed with Granny. She was one of my absolute role models for my entire life. Like, absolutely adored her, doted on her, and she was just my favourite thing. Going into her studio, which was just a glorified garage, but oh, it was amazing because it was Granny's, and she was always so proud of everything I did. And she kept all these terrible, terrible collages and paintings that I'd made, and I found them all in her things when we were sorting through them after she died. And so yeah, I am obsessed with my granny. I miss her desperately, and I will probably always make artwork about her. She's the reason I'm an artist. She, if you believe in that, passed it down, and if you don't, she encouraged me. She installed the belief in me that you could be an artist. And it took a while, but I'm fucking doing it. So this one's for Granny. I just don't know what I'm doing. What shall I do? Painting a cyanotype, making a lino print. And then I just had this idea about putting some sort of lino print onto this easel and having that as my canvas. Or onto this art smock. Don't know. This art smock has been a canvas of sorts before in one of my previous projects, this one, where I projected pictures of a younger Betty onto the frail and beautiful childlike Betty that we grew to know later in her life. I think possibly it might be quite touching to look at that, because my work now is hopefully forever going to be art, and it was her work, it was her life, it was the thing we had most in common. So if you ask me work, I'm gonna say art. So let's make this piece on work. So I ran out of sensitizer. I'm just gonna make some more. We have time. Lessons learned from last week. There's always time. Yeah. Playing with chemicals, so mask on as well. Over the earrings. So I have no idea how long this is going to take to dry, but I'm just going to give it my best. See how much I can get painted. See how much I can get dried. I need to get a hairdryer in here. The bits. I have to process it tomorrow, but that's fine. And then I'll just work on all the bits that I need in the meantime. So if there's any collaging to do or any printing negatives, obviously it's a big old piece of fabric. This could end up being fucking amazing. That's what we're hoping for. We're done. Well, we're done coating her. Coating her. Okay, this is it. This is it. So everything that you see that's green, if everything goes right, will go blue, except anything that is obscured by light. So say there's a paintbrush or a flower, that will go back to being beigey green. Everything else should go this beautiful, beautiful blue. And I just need to get all the stuff together to put on top of it once it's dry. So let's hang it back up. Yeah, most of it went down the wall in my very homemade lab. I don't regret this too much. I don't think. As long as it works, it'll be fine. If it doesn't work, it'll eventually rinse out. That's what I need to remember. It will eventually rinse out. But in the process, I will probably lose some of her paint. But it's art. You win some, you lose some.